In high school, I endured constant teasing from a beautiful classmate who would mock me as a nerd. Even now, she continues to insult me, calling me ugly. Irritated by her disrespect towards my cherished partner, I felt it might be time to set her straight. As I pondered this, a tap on my shoulder interrupted my thoughts. Sorry for the delay, a familiar voice spoke. Turning around, I was greeted by the sight of my beloved wife. The classmate's expression changed the moment she witnessed this encounter, marking the start of her downfall. I'm Mitch, the owner of a local cafe. Operating this cafe has been my lifelong dream. Though small in size, we prioritize using high-quality ingredients in every dish, which has earned us recognition in magazines. I'm also meticulous about our coffee beans, often traveling to source them directly. This dedication has sparked disbelief from some friends, but gained the respect of others in the industry. I've even honed my latte art skills, recently winning a competition, a testament to my expertise. Mitch, how's the cafe faring lately? A friend inquired. It's doing well, I responded. How about you? I asked. I'm doing great too. Can I stop by your cafe sometime? They inquired. Absolutely. We're excited for your visit, I replied. I'm grateful for the support. The accomplishment of my cafe is greatly attributed to my wife, Kay. She balances domestic duties with her demanding work. Oh, what a lovely plant, I commented, admiring the new addition to our home. Yes, greenery has a calming effect, and this one complements our space, so I had to get it, she explained. Looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I believe it's wonderful, I concurred. Our home is well maintained thanks to her. Kay's taste is exceptional, and her designs could easily become viral sensations on social media. She's not just decorated our home, but also the cafe. Owing to her efforts, both have an elegant and refined look. I lack a discerning aesthetic sense, so I'm grateful for her guidance. Your taste is incredible, I told her. Thanks, it's part of the job, she replied. I can't express my gratitude enough, I added. However, despite her seemingly flawless talents, Kay has one major shortcoming. She can't cook. Mitch, the toast is ready, she said one morning. Great. Let's top it with slices of avocado and serve it with homemade consommé soup, I suggested. That's amazing. I could never do that. My avocados always turn out bad, and the soup ends up black, she admitted. Kay has a fatal lack of culinary skills. To this day, she can only manage to make toast and a honeymoon salad. She used to try cooking for me in the past, but it never went well. I noticed a lot of smoke coming from the kitchen, I said when she tried to fry an egg. You're supposed to crack the eggs first before cooking them. And based on the amount of smoke, it seems you didn't use any oil, did you? She had put the whole eggs in the pan, nearly causing a fire with the high heat. Another time, she tried making boiled eggs in the microwave. What's that loud noise? I asked. Did you just put the eggs in the microwave like that? Yeah, she replied sheepishly. You can cook boiled eggs in the microwave, but if you don't crack them first, they'll explode, I explained. She also attempted to make chicken noodle soup, but it turned into a dark, murky liquid. I did my best to salvage her cooking efforts, but most of it was beyond repair. I guess I'm just not good at cooking, she eventually admitted, giving up on her culinary skills. Mitch, you're amazing. You can create such stylish and nutritious dishes, she said. Thanks, but Kay, you're amazing too. Even though you may not be a talented cook, everything else about you is perfect. The place really has a lovely, welcoming atmosphere. While my aesthetic sensibilities may differ from yours, I'm sure you've done a fantastic job creating such a warm and inviting living space, I expressed with sincerity. Although I may not be an expert in the kitchen, I can prepare delightful and nutritious meals. Although my fashion sense may not be the strongest, Kay has a talent for making our home look beautiful. We support each other in this way, and live peacefully. One day, I received an invitation to a high school reunion. "Oh, really?" I said, reading the letter. The reunion committee consisted of my former classmates, and the organizer was Ashley, a person I never got along with. Ashley was a pageant winner who always looked down on others. I never had a good impression of her and tried to keep my distance. In high school, I was less refined, often laughed at, and called a failure. "Hanging out with a failure again? That's the worst. Stay away from me," she would say. "I don't like it either," I'd reply, but she would laugh at me. Despite my efforts to avoid her, we were in the same class for 3 years with seats near each other, so I was constantly ridiculed. It was difficult, but my friends, especially my best friend Kevin, stood up for me. "What's the matter, Jess? You seem troubled," Kate inquired with concern. "It's about the upcoming high school reunion," I confessed. Truthfully, I wasn't thrilled about attending an event organized by Ashley and her group. However, I had formed meaningful connections with many other former classmates, and I was eager to reconnect with them after all these years. "If you're hesitant, you don't have to interact with the organizers. Just focus on the people you care about," Kay suggested reassuringly. Motivated by her support, I decided to go and let them know of my plans. "I'll be here to pick you up afterwards, so feel free to relax and have a good time," Kay added with a kind smile. I reciprocated the gesture, saying, "Thanks, I'm looking forward to it now." "Jess, I hope you have a wonderful time." Her words of encouragement filled me with anticipation for the reunion. "Greetings, Mitch. There you are, my old friend. Come join us over here. Mitch, it's been ages. We've missed you dearly." As I arrived at the event venue that day, several familiar faces from our high school days warmly welcomed me. Kevin was among them, of course. "It's truly been too long, Mitch. We've all been keeping well, though you've definitely acquired a sun-kissed glow from your time abroad. Indeed, you've developed quite a fashionable flair, my friend. It's remarkable to see how we've all evolved since those carefree school days. Yet, once we started catching up, it felt as if no time had passed at all. I momentarily forgot my concerns about the event's organization and simply reveled in the joy of reconnecting with dear old friends. Thanks to Kay's encouragement, I'm glad I made the effort to attend. Greetings, everyone. So good to see you all again." And here comes the guest of honor, the pageant winner herself, Ashley. Her boisterous arrival and striking appearance immediately commanded the attention of the entire venue. "Nice to see you, Kay. And Ashley, you're looking as radiant as ever." A group of our former classmates, dressed in a similarly flamboyant manner, gathered around Ashley, almost like a devoted entourage. "Kevin, that comparison to Kim Kardashian and her enthusiastic fans is a bit harsh, don't you think? The little critters that gather around never cease to amaze us. You really do tend to go overboard with your analogies, don't you?" Our companions giggled softly, listening to our chat. Ashley peeked in our direction. "You people are perpetually so dreary and drag down the atmosphere, as per usual." The women looked down on us, dismissing our worth. "I bet you're all still unimpressive. Your partners must be unattractive, if you even have any. You're probably still lurking on the fringes of society," they sneered. "That's right. They've been sidelined at work, or maybe they're just unemployed hermits. We shouldn't get too close to them," they continued. They said whatever they pleased about us. I glanced at Kevin's frowning face. Unimpressive. I wonder what they're basing that on. Before criticizing others, they should take a hard look at themselves, I muttered. "We're not even interested in you in the first place," Kevin whispered, his voice barely audible to them. Unlike in high school, where he would have responded and faced their glares, Kevin seemed to have matured and chosen not to engage. After they had their fill of bad-mouthing us, Ashley and her group found a new target and left. They're gone now. It's always the same with them. Just put-downs and show-off behavior, I said. Ashley's glamorous beauty was still apparent, and it only seemed to have grown more captivating over time. "Look at this, my fabulous life," she posted loudly on social media, her boasting clearly audible. Regardless of our desires, she claimed to have various benefactors who funded her way of life. "Given Ashley's striking appearance, it's not surprising," she added. "Thanks to them, I can live comfortably without toiling like the rest of us," she boasted. For those of us who strive through diligence, her remarks seemed like they belonged in a different realm. "It's as if she inhabits a separate world," we remarked. "We want no part of that, do we?" Suddenly, the conversation shifted as one of us mentioned finding something Kevin had previously discussed. "Don't do it. I'd be mortified if someone I know purchased it," they exclaimed. Quickly, we returned to our own engrossing dialogue, more invested in our own topics than her extravagant claims. "This is my partner," she said proudly. "Wow, he's quite a looker. Someone like him is the perfect match for you," I responded in awe. "Let's see your significant other as well," she insisted. "I feel a bit awkward following Ashley's impressive partner," I admitted sheepishly. "Oh, he looks lovely, doesn't he?" she commented. "Thanks. By the way, didn't you mention you recently found a boyfriend?" I inquired. "Yes, I'd love to introduce you." "Go on, show us," she urged. Ashley and the others were excitedly sharing pictures of their beloved companions, clearly enjoying the moment. "Hey, let's summon our spouses over," someone suggested. "Why not?" "My guy said he'd join us if I called," another replied. "Really? Ashley's handsome fiancé is coming too?" I asked, intrigued. "Awesome," they chorused. It seemed that Ashley's partner would also be making an appearance. Speaking of which, I wondered if the rest of us had found our own partners. Listening to their conversation, our discussion naturally gravitated towards that topic. I noted. "I'm still single, but Mitch, you're married, right?" I inquired. "Yes, that's correct," he confirmed. "Mitch is married," the others exclaimed in surprise. "Yeah, we kept things simple. We just registered our marriage and had a small gathering with our families, as we were both quite occupied with work," Mitch explained. "I see, and you're wearing a wedding band," I observed. "Indeed." "Congratulations, my friend," they offered their well wishes. "Thank you," Mitch responded. My friends were surprised to learn that I had tied the knot. Kevin was aware, as we had stayed in touch since high school, but I hadn't had the opportunity to share the news with the others due to our hectic lifestyles. Hearing the news, Ashley and her squad ambled over to join our talk. One of the nerds, it appears, had taken the leap into wedlock. Quite a feat for someone of that ilk, wouldn't you say? Marrying someone like him, what kind of person would choose that? She must have poor taste in partners. Probably an unfashionable woman who couldn't find anyone better than a nerd like him. Oblivious to our disapproving expressions, Ashley and her friends speculated and giggled about my wife. "Certainly unattractive," they remarked. "She must be a perfect match for a guy like you, a complete loser." Ashley laughed loudly, drawing everyone's attention while I struggled to suppress my anger. Being insulted about my kind and beloved girlfriend by someone like her was infuriating. "Ashley, it seems you're having quite a lively time," Tyler said amidst the tense atmosphere. Ashley's much-discussed fiancé arrived. "This is Tyler, my fiancé. He's a handsome, successful entrepreneur," Ashley said, clinging to her fiancé's arm. He was indeed handsome, dressed in an expensive-looking suit. Wait, that face. While everyone's attention was focused, I realized I knew him. Could it be Mitch? I now recall. "You're Tyler?" Oh, it was Tyler, the fiancé who recognized me first. "Mitch, is that you?" I asked. "I'm grateful for your assistance," he spoke to me politely. "Likewise. Thank you, Tyler." I stood up and greeted him. I never imagined I'd encounter Mitch here. "Look at that. You and my girlfriend are the same age. It's almost like we were meant to meet this way." You're absolutely right. The world can be quite small at times. Wait, hold on. Do you know this guy? Ashley asked Tyler as we chatted casually. Tyler's friendly expression quickly shifted to one of irritation when she called Mitch a nerd. What do you mean by that? Tyler said. What's the problem? It's just a fact. He's a nerd, that's all. Ashley whispered to the side. Don't say that. You're mocking Mitch. Why do you always look down on people? Tyler responded. Just answer my question. Mitch owns the property where my shop is located. He has a lot of real estate around here. Tyler revealed personal details about me. Turns out my family has money, and I own several properties myself. Running my own shop was a dream, but managing all those properties was challenging, so I rented them out. Tyler was one of the managers looking after one of my properties. He's a polite and earnest person, someone I trusted and heard was successful in business. No way. A nerd like him can't be a wealthy landowner, Ashley said, refusing to believe it even after Tyler's explanation. You only believe what benefits you, Tyler sighed, apologizing to me. Though he wasn't to blame, that's why I respected him. Hey, it does seem true, doesn't it? Ashley said, looking at us. Even if he has real estate, he's still an unattractive nerd. His wife must be unattractive too. Come on, show us your ugly wife who matches you. Tyler tried to stop her, but Ashley was out of control. I hesitated to approach this loud woman, but this could be a chance to challenge her assumptions. While I considered this, my wife, Kay, approached me. Apologies for the delay, she said, tapping my shoulder. Kay, you're here, I exclaimed joyfully. I got here early, Jess, she explained. I thought about waiting outside, but then I came in wearing sunglasses and a hat. Her slim silhouette made it clear she was no ordinary person. Seemingly unsatisfied with our relaxed chat, Ashley impatiently snatched Kay's hat and sunglasses, demanding, Hey, show your face. Whoa, it's that popular model, Claire, isn't it? The crowd erupted in cheers as Kay's face was revealed. Jess, this is my wife, Kay, who used to model under the name Claire. She was a well-known celebrity, often seen on TV, admired for her down-to-earth personality, healthy lifestyle, and great fashion sense, making her a regular on various shows. Nice to meet you. I'm Kay, the model known as Claire, she said, turning towards Ashley with a smile. The real Claire. Incredible. I'm a fan. Can I get an autograph? The crowd cheered as Kay made her appearance. Ashley was speechless and seemed stunned. Ashley, it's been a while. Do you remember me? Kay asked, her smile still on her face. What? Ashley frowned, puzzled by the question. Her expression showed she didn't understand. My maiden name is Parker, Kay continued. Parker. Ashley seemed to recall. The classmate you used to bully, forcing her to change schools. No way. Ashley's face grew paler as the memory came back to her. I remembered what Kay had told me before. We were in middle school together, and in the first year, Ashley had started bullying Kay. My personal belongings would frequently go missing. Every day, I faced baseless rumors about my parents being criminals or our family being poor. It was truly distressing. I recalled that Kay had struggled with these issues since middle school. She had a different appearance back then. Shorter, plumper, with acne and plain features. Sadly, she was constantly mocked and ridiculed by Ashley, who seemed to find satisfaction in putting her down. Unable to endure the daily taunts about her looks, Kay decided to transfer to another school before her second year of middle school. Even after Kay left, Ashley continued to bully others, perhaps feeling better about herself by asserting her perceived superiority over those she deemed inferior. Her unfounded confidence had only made her more arrogant, and she surrounded herself with followers and had her pick of boys. I've worked hard since then, determined to prove myself to you. At first, it didn't go well, but I persevered. Kay conveyed this message, but then she took it back, saying, "You're not even worth proving anything to." That was a mistake. Instead of her usual pleasant smile, Kay now looked down on Ashley with a derisive grin. "What do you mean by that?" Ashley asked. Kay firmly told her, "It's obvious you're hiding your rough skin under makeup. You might be spending money, but your unhealthy habits show in your body. Shapewear alone can't hide your figure well. Social media might showcase your glamorous life, but it's clear it's all superficial. The content is shallow." One critique after another followed, and indeed, they were all true. The crowd began to laugh, agreeing with Kay's assessment. Feeling looked down upon for the first time in her life, Ashley turned bright red with anger. "Don't mess with me. Stop it," she exclaimed. Seeing Ashley lunge at Kay, I instinctively moved to shield her. Right then, the sound of a camera shutter clicked. Noticed Kevin aiming his camera at Ashley's unsightly features. "What are you capturing on camera? Conduct yourself properly." As I and Tyler held back the still irritated Ashley, Kevin persisted in photographing her. "I'm an accomplished photographer, so I've captured the perfect shot." After completing his studies, Kevin chased his passion and became a renowned globe-trotting photographer. His photo books sell out rapidly. If you continue this, I'll post these images on your social media. The true face of the self-proclaimed beautiful celebrity. My pictures will surely grab everyone's attention. I don't mind. Go ahead, Claire, or whatever, and you, the property owner, get over yourselves and fail. I couldn't care less. Threatened by Kevin, Ashley hurled a final insult and left. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disturbance." Tyler apologized with an embarrassed look. Since he didn't seem to follow her, it was clear what would become of the two. The reunion ended prematurely, perhaps due to the awkwardness in the presence of the famous. "Claire, did I go too far?" Kay pondered on our way back. "Not at all. I honestly felt refreshed." "Really?" But the reunion ended because of it. "It's okay. The friends and I exchanged contacts and decided to have a mini reunion at Tyler's place." "Then that's good." "Yeah, and I was angry too for you being insulted. Thanks for speaking up for me." "You're welcome." After getting out of the car, we walked hand in hand toward our home. I'd watched Kay smile beside me and remembered how we met. "I'm Kay, new to your class starting today. Nice to meet you." Kay transferred to my middle school when we were in the 8th grade. "I'm Mitch. Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you. You don't have your textbooks yet, right? Let's share during class." "Thank you." We ended up sitting next to each other by chance, and I shared my textbook with her during class. That was the beginning, and slowly we started talking more and more. Gradually, we became closer and developed a good friendship. On the day of our graduation, we exchanged contact information and graduated. At that time, it was just a friendly relationship, and we naturally drifted apart. Welcome. Hello. I reunited with her when I opened my own cafe. Struggling with attracting customers to my startup cafe, I was at my wit's end. "Are you Mitch by any chance?" "Oh, are you Kay?" Kay came in as a customer at a time like that. Delighted by this unexpected reunion, we shared various stories with each other. By then, Kay had already started working as a model. She had grown taller, but was still full-figured and struggled with skin problems. After that, she became a regular in my cafe. I hope I'm not overstepping, but there are no customers right now. I'm actually concerned about the consistently empty cafe. Kay listened as I explained everything without holding back. "Mitch, what is it? I might be able to help a little." Following her advice, I remodeled the cafe, and gradually more customers started coming in. I also began to worry about Kay's dietary habits. Knowing she couldn't cook and often ate carelessly, I started offering her healthy, vegetable-rich meals to help improve her diet. "Hey, Mitch, I heard this kind of food is good." "Yeah, I can make this. Let's try it together." We researched meals beneficial for beauty, and with her efforts, Kay rapidly became more beautiful. As a result, her modeling work increased, and she is now a popular model. We positively influenced each other, leading to success in our respective fields. "Kay, you like this cat character too?" "Yes, I do." We had many common interests, and our hobbies matched. When we shared our past experiences, we realized we had both been harassed by the same person and sympathized with each other. Our relationship deepened, and after I asked her out, we started dating, leading to marriage a few years later. We still advise each other and live happily together. I think meeting Kay again that day was fate. "Oh, why bring that up all of a sudden?" Kay laughed happily at my words, likely feeling the same. It was a strange connection, both being harassed by the same person. But I wanted to cherish this bond. Holding her warm hand, I felt strongly about it. Afterward, Ashley's social media was being flamed. Kevin didn't post the photo after all, but the story of the reunion spread among other classmates. Well, insulting a popular model like Kay and antagonizing me and Kevin, both somewhat known in our industries, was bound to backfire. It was inevitable. Ashley, with her angry, almost demon-like expression, became an internet meme. She could no longer claim to be an influencer. Later, at a small reunion at Tyler's place, he shared the details. "I broke up with Ashley. She didn't like it, but there were already things bothering me, so it was a good opportunity." "That must have been tough for you," Tyler said. "It's nothing compared to what you and Kay went through," I replied. Ashley remained unrepentant, always blaming Kay and me. "I don't care about being a popular model and owning real estate. They are just a nerd and a fatso getting above their station. It's all their fault, not mine." Continuing to speak this way, Ashley exhausted Tyler's patience. "Actually, I didn't upload the photo, but I did talk about the reunion in a recent interview," Kevin said with a mischievous grin. His photographs are especially popular among the wealthy. After the interview about the reunion, Ashley's patrons also drifted away, and she tearfully returned to her parents' home, never having worked before. What she plans to do now is anyone's guess. One can only hope her parents will re-educate her. "Well, it's no longer our concern," I said. "I guess that's right. Enough about that woman. Tell us more about your wife." "Yeah, we really want to hear it." "Okay, I will." Kay, my wife, became a bit of a topic when Ashley's social media blew up. She revealed that Ashley was a classmate of mine in high school and also went to the same middle school as Ashley. She hadn't spoken about the bullying she endured, but other classmates revealed it, and she garnered sympathy instead. Now she's even more popular as someone who overcame her past. "I'd want to make a movie about Kay," I continued. "A friend who is a director mentioned this in a film titled Becoming Claire. The popular model starring Kay herself was shot. The movie was a big hit, making Kay a well-known figure of the time. Meanwhile, my cafe is also doing well. After the movie revealed my existence, fans of Kay would ask, 'Are you her husband?' I can't disclose personal information," I reply, though it's an open secret among the fans. Thanks to Kay's singing on social media, not to make a fuss, they warmly watch over us. Of course, there are also loyal fans of my specialty coffee, so I'm having fulfilling days. "Welcome back, Kay. I'm home and weary. You did well today. Dinner will be ready soon." "Appreciate it. Can't wait to eat." After a long day, Kay stops by the cafe once it's closed. I serve her a nutritious meal I made for her. "Your cooking is always so tasty," she comments. "It's better than any fancy restaurant." Seeing her happy face as she eats fills me with joy. I may never forget Ashley's actions, but I recognize they brought Kay and I closer together. I'm thankful for that. It seems every experience, both positive and negative, shapes our present. With that in mind, I smiled in response to Kay's cheerful laughter.
All right, everyone's presentations are done, Nick, the manager, said as he tried to move the discussion forward. Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something. Nick interrupted me and began to speak. There's apparently someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. His lackey, Mike, of course, agreed with Nick. I'm leaving. After leaving the meeting room, I started to shut down my computer. I noticed that an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking, there's no point in speaking up, no one will listen, I went home quietly. The next day, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. He was staring at his computer screen, his face pale. Nick! Is something wrong? Mike looked at the screen with him. And he turned even paler than Nick. Why is he so angry? Knowing the reason for Mike's distress, I thought to myself, serves them right. My name is Adam. My mother passed away when I was in the 9th grade, and I was raised by my father. Well, you could hardly call it being raised. After my mother passed, my father changed. He drowned his sorrows in alcohol, and though he still went to work, he squandered our living expenses on horse racing. Because of that, I had to start working part-time as soon as I entered high school. Every month, I went to the convenience store with bills in hand that couldn't be auto-deducted from my father's account. Even though I endured it because I didn't want to be alone, I reached my limit in my 2nd year of high school and dropped out. I found a live-in job at a distant inn. Thank you for everything. The day I left home, my father, still staring at the TV, spoke. Take care. That was our last conversation. Back then, 18 wasn't the age of majority, so I needed my father's permission to work, and I couldn't hide my place of employment. Yet, my father never visited me even once. I kept working just to survive, and before I knew it, I was 42. Years of hard work paid off, and I was transferred to the headquarters. I was thrilled to be recognized by the company, as I thought I'd be working in the field until retirement due to my lack of formal education. Listen up. Our work can change the future of our employees. Don't drag us down. On my first day after the transfer, Nick, dressed in an expensive suit, spoke sternly. There was a reason for this. Our inn was located in a prominent tourist destination, known so well that everyone in the state could sing its commercial jingle. At its peak, we had 5 locations within the state. But that was long ago. Due to financial difficulties and aging facilities, only the place where I had worked for many years and the original establishment remained. I was prepared to lose my job anytime, but now there was a glimmer of hope. With the rise of social media, the tourist area where the inn was located started gaining attention again. Depending on how hard the sales department, where I was transferred, worked, we could either thrive or be forced to give up this prime location to the new hotel chains continuously popping up. For Nick, who had switched careers from another industry to strengthen our sales, this was a battle he couldn't afford to lose. I understood why he had to be strict. I will do my best. Nick sneered at my enthusiastic declaration. Did you not hear what I said? I'm sorry. I thought I was listening carefully. Out of habit from years of customer service, I apologized reflexively, though I had no idea what had offended him. Someone was watching me with a smirk. In this department, there are those who are expected to excel and those who have been shoved here because they have nowhere else to go. You are the latter. It was Mike, the section chief. He's 7 years younger, at 35. But he was called to headquarters much earlier than I was and had been moving around within the headquarters ever since. I'm not jealous, but I can't accept that he's my boss. Graduating from a prestigious university, he has an unusually high pride and caused many problems as a newbie, making things very difficult for me when I was the front desk leader. When I found out Mike was transferred to the sales department a month before me, I was disheartened. Mike is right. With just a middle school diploma, there's not much you can do. Don't even think about achieving results. As if I didn't exist, Nick remarked, I'm thirsty. Mike eagerly ran to the coffee maker. It seems Mike is Nick's lackey. I regretted being happy about my transfer to headquarters, wishing I had stayed on site forever. Send a direct mail to every company on this list by the end of the day. Nick only assigned me tasks that even a new graduate could handle. What? There are over 1,000 companies. You want me to send to all of them by today? Yes, if you and your fellow misfits split the work, even those with nowhere else to go should finish by today. I glanced at the employees typing away expressionlessly. They were worn out from customer service, only thinking about leaving on time, or were women reassigned after having children. With zero motivation for work. Even Sam, a new graduate from the same university as Mike, who was supposed to be among the expected achievers, had no enthusiasm for the job. Having joined the company wanting to do customer service. I don't care what they say, I plan to quit anytime, he said. Only Nick and Mike were highly motivated, making all the decisions between the two of them. I originally only wanted to work at the inn to survive and had no particular attachment to this job. I swallowed my words, thinking I had no right to reprimand them. About a month after the transfer, Nick told us with a frustrated look. To commemorate the 50th anniversary, we've decided to create a plan exclusive for one group per day. Originally, Mike and I were supposed to come up with it, but our president, Mr. Thompson, insists on hearing everyone's opinions. So, you all get a chance. As Nick explained, Mike began handing out prints. Make sure not to embarrass Nick. If your ideas are half-baked, you'll have to redo them. It seemed that they had printed his handwritten notes by Mr. Thompson, which included several questions and a section for free responses. It made sense why Nick had to seek our input, given that all responses had to be submitted to Mr. Thompson. We were given a week to think about it, and a meeting was scheduled to compile our ideas. My plan is to let guests enjoy both the old and modern America. Nick began the presentations. Guests would watch a master confectioner at a nearby traditional sweet shop make sweets in front of them. The welcome drink would be premium tea in a bottle. Nick's plan was certainly attractive. After his presentation, Nick called on us to present in the order we were seated. Just as I stood up for my turn. All right, everyone's presentations are done. Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something. Nick interrupted me. There's someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer. He was likely talking about me. I joined the company as a part-timer and was made a full-time employee when I turned 20. That was 20 years ago, so Nick and Mike probably had no chance to know until recently. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. After that, Nick kept creating opportunities to solicit everyone's opinions, purposefully excluding me from speaking. The meeting unexpectedly heated up and went past the scheduled end time. A few people asked to leave, and the discussion continued with the remaining few. Still here? Normally, you'd leave in that situation. Though I had no attachment to the job initially, hearing kind words from customers made me want to make them happier. For someone like me, with nowhere to go, the inn was my home and customer service was my life. I felt pathetic about my current self. I'm leaving. I left the conference room and started shutting down my computer. I noticed an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking no one would listen to what I had to say anyway, I quietly went home. The next day, while preparing the DM as instructed, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. In his haste to stand up, he hit his knee on the desk. He stared at his computer screen, his face pale. Nick! What's wrong? Mike, thinking he should be the first to rush over, approached Nick while still wearing his coat. He peered at the screen with Nick. And he turned even paler than Nick. Why is he so angry? Who is responsible for this company? Nick, more irritated than ever, asked, and Mike answered without checking. Probably Sam. Sam wasn't there because he was attending a morning training session for new hires. Nick gave up on getting angry and returned his gaze to the screen. They were looking at an email that arrived right after the end of the working day yesterday. Apparently, no one, including me, had checked it before leaving. The email was from a large company that used us for their annual employee trips. The president and executives of that company also frequently used our services personally. President of the company, Mr. Mason himself, had declared that neither he nor his company would ever use our services again. Well, some companies cancel their employee trips or stop using our services due to financial struggles. Let's just move on. Mike kept wiping the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. Knowing why Mike was so agitated, I quietly watched their interaction. Do you know how much revenue we get from that company? We can find other guests to fill the rooms, but we'll lose the banquet costs, gift shop revenue, rental car fees, and more. Moreover, the gifts were supposed to be prepared by the traditional confectionery shop involved in Nick's proposed plan. If it's known that we incurred such a huge loss at this critical time, Nick's position in the company would be jeopardized. Nick took a deep breath, seemingly trying to calm himself. All right, Mike. Go to New York right now and apologize to Mr. Mason. What? You're coming with me, right? I have urgent work to do. I trust you, which is why I'm entrusting this to you. Please. Mike, believing Nick's sincerity, agreed with a determined look on his face, saying, yes. That's Nick for you. Even if Mike went to apologize, Nick would shift all the blame onto him if the client didn't change their mind. Well, it was Mike's fault to begin with, so it served him right. About 3 hours later, Sam answered a call from somewhere and repeatedly apologized, saying, I'm very sorry. Everyone watched to see what was happening. After ending the call, he informed Nick with a weary tone. When Mike arrived at the client's company, he only made things worse, further infuriating Mr. Mason. He was demanding, get his boss here immediately. It was no wonder Sam was exhausted, dealing with such a call right after returning from training. What is that idiot doing? All right, Adam, you're coming with me. If sacrificing Mike didn't work, then I must be next. Normally, I'd want to refuse at all costs, but I saw an opportunity in this situation. If I can be of assistance, I'd be happy to join you. I obediently followed Nick, and we flew to New York. When we introduced ourselves at the reception, it became clear how serious the situation was, as the receptionist personally escorted us to the president's office. Angry voices leaked through the door, making both Nick and me uneasy. Excuse me. I'm Nick, the supervisor. I understand my subordinate has caused you trouble, and I deeply apologize. Nick, with his experience in the corporate world, knew enough to offer an apology before excuses. However, his customer service skills left much to be desired. I sighed as I saw Mike trembling like a small dog in the corner of the room. What kind of training are you giving your subordinates? Mr. Mason glared at Nick with a red face. The intensity of his gaze made even Nick take a step back. Regrettably, I joined this company only 2 years ago and was unaware of Mike's issues. I should have identified his shortcomings sooner. Indeed. I should have realized sooner. No sensible person would come to apologize and then give a lengthy presentation on the drawbacks of not using their in. Nick froze, his mouth slightly open. Suspecting the worst, I picked up the documents that had fallen to the floor. It seemed Mike hastily prepared these documents on the plane, listing the disadvantages. Disadvantage 1: if you change the venue for the company trip, employees might suspect it's for cost-cutting reasons, leading to a negative impression. Reading it aloud half-jokingly, Nick snatched the papers from my hand and checked the contents with a furious expression. Among the stack of documents was a receipt from a nearby convenience store's copy machine. I felt a pang of dread, hoping he hadn't shown the receipt as well. What do you think he said when I asked what kind of nerve he had to do this? I'm very sorry. Faced with the dire situation, Nick must have thought there was nothing left to do but apologize. In a voice smaller than I'd ever heard from him, he uttered words of apology. He said, I'm a Harvard graduate. I don't believe I said anything wrong. Mike! What have you done? Forgetting his plan to pin the blame on Mike, Nick yelled loudly, even in front of Mr. Mason. I didn't do anything wrong. You're still saying that? Look at him. Mike pointed at me with a shaking hand. I was assigned to headquarters in my 20s and now I'm a section chief. This guy only made it to headquarters at 42. Everything I've done proves I was right. So why are we losing the contract? Having said his piece, Mike collapsed to the floor. Of course. You were sent there because you had nowhere else to go. Mike never expected to hear such words from someone he looked down upon. He lunged at me, and Nick hurriedly stepped in to stop him. Mr. Thompson told me Mike is a quick thinker, and to take good care of him. There's no way he was pushed aside. Don't make things worse here. He didn't say quick thinker, he said only quick-witted, didn't he? I don't remember that part. I recalled the many troubles Mike caused when he was a newbie. When Mike was on the front line, his pride was so high that he never apologized to customers. Customer service, especially in our job, doesn't work alone. It brings both good and bad situations. If the front staff or housekeepers made mistakes, or the cleaning company didn't properly clean a room, one had to apologize to the customers regardless of personal fault. Mike, in such situations, would never apologize, insisting he wasn't at fault. This often angered customers, and as the front desk leader, I frequently had to apologize on his behalf. He caused complaints and disrupted operations, which is why he was quickly moved to headquarters. In departments where he didn't interact directly with customers, his quick thinking was beneficial and things went well. But it seemed his flaws were starting to show. Corporate reservations are supposed to be entered into the system by the sales representative. But a quick check yesterday revealed that more than 10 items were missing from the client's reservation. The handover document clearly stated what needed to be prepared. Why didn't you enter it into the system? Why do we have to give them special treatment? Filling rooms near the banquet hall, setting up all the food in advance. Specifying the brand of wine, they're too demanding. No wonder he always angered customers, I thought, feeling a headache coming on. Grouping them in rooms near the banquet hall is for our benefit too. It makes it easier for the staff to set up beds and serve breakfast since everyone's schedule is synchronized. As for the other requests, Mr. Mason suggested them to lighten our load. I didn't know that. Nick finally seemed to realize that Mike was the one who had angered the client. What did you say to them? I just told them we wouldn't give them special treatment anymore. We shouldn't waste effort on things that don't bring in money. I was utterly exasperated at his lack of understanding of customer service. Of course, we shouldn't comply with unreasonable demands. But carrying over successful practices from past stays makes customers feel remembered and enhances their experience. Good memories encourage repeat visits. That's part of our job. I looked down at Mike, who was sitting on the floor. In our job, nothing is a waste. Mr. Thompson likely moved you to the sales department, hoping you'd finally understand this. How do you think he feels now that you've failed to meet his expectations? Mike, tears in his eyes, fled the president's office. I was amazed he still hadn't apologized. You have it tough, Adam. It's okay, we're all employees of the same company. I deeply apologize for this disrespectful incident. Especially after all the care you've shown us. If it weren't for you, Adam, I really would have stopped staying here. When I heard you were moving to the sales department, I was willing to reconsider if you handled it. Seeing us talk so amicably, Nick's face contorted. Do you two know each other? Adam's service is excellent. I always requested him specifically. Normally, we don't accept specific staff requests, but we made an exception for Mr. Mason, adjusting my shifts accordingly. He had personally stayed at our hotel just before my transfer, and during casual conversation, I mentioned, I'm moving to the sales department soon. If I hadn't told him then, things could have been much worse. Please continue to take care of us. I look forward to it. On the return flight, Nick awkwardly offered me a can of beer. It's still working hours. Of course, I had no intention of forgiving him for a single beer. Nick might try to pin everything on Mike and avoid any consequences. While pondering this, a startling fact came to light. Nick, the tea bottles for the plan have arrived. I handed Nick a bottle labeled with our inn's name. They look good. What are you talking about? These are plastic bottles. I had assumed we would use the trendy, high-end bottling tea. But what arrived were ordinary plastic bottles of tea with customized labels. The only unique aspect was the label, which had the inn's name, making it look customized. Upon further investigation, I discovered that a substantial amount of money was set to be paid to the tea company. It was priced like bottling tea. Does this plastic bottle really cost $100 each? The tea inside is specially blended for us. The extra cost is for that. Wouldn't it be better to use another tea company? Or is there a specific reason we must use this one? As Nick continued to make excuses, I showed him a printed email. I informed the tea company's president, Mr. Mitchell, that we discovered irregular payments and he confessed. He said you two were high school classmates and planned to split the extra money. That idiot. Why did he confess? That's not important. You should worry about yourself, this could turn into a police matter. Opening the bottle cap, I suggested. How about calming down with this tea? It supposedly has a relaxing effect. Nick drank the tea frantically. In the following days, decisions were made about their fates. Mike was reassigned to the General Affairs Department, with no chance of transfer or promotion, as per Mr. Thompson's orders. As for Nick, since the payment to the tea company hadn't yet been made, he narrowly avoided legal trouble. Instead, he was encouraged to leave the company, and to avoid further complications, Nick submitted his resignation. Rumor has it that connections between HR departments have made it difficult for him to find new employment. Even though it was good to have those two gone, something unexpected happened in the sales department. Everyone became motivated and united in refining the 50th anniversary plan. In the end, my plan was adopted. We collaborated with the Tourist Information Center to provide personalized guides. The plan, tailored to the number of guests, was truly special for the 50th anniversary. Hey, is Adam's family coming to stay? I immediately booked that special plan for my family. Sam noticed it on the reservation list and quickly picked up on it. Yes, I'm inviting my father. That's great. I might invite my parents too. I lacked the courage to face my father just as Adam. But here, with the confidence Mr. Mason praised, I felt ready. The 50th anniversary plan was a perfect opportunity to reconnect with my father. I hoped to bring back the days when we could laugh together as we once did.